And now to this. The Biden campaign is one step closer to becoming reality for the DNC convention. The DNC will decide next week if the roll call vote will be held over Zoom ahead of the convention so that Biden can be named the official Democrat presidential nominee in time for Ohio's deadline to get him on the ballot. That virtual vote would be held before August 7th, the Democrat convention. That is from August 19th onward. Meanwhile, Obama's former right-hand man says people should give up the idea that it won't be Biden because it is so Biden on the ballot. Watch.
Trump and Biden. I mean, you can take the easy way out and say, well, I'm not going to vote for either of them. But one of those guys is going to be president of the United States. And people ought to focus on that and give up on the sort of fantasy of that there's going to be another candidate.
I'm like Mariah Carey. I will never give up on the fantasy. But the Ragin' Cajun disagrees. Lizardman?
I got to tell you, I don't say panic. There is real unease in the party.
Oh, yeah.
And, sometimes you go years with nothing happening, and then you go weeks with everything happening. It's politics, anything can happen. Don't discount it.
Very interesting, guys. So you have these two establishment Democrats who have been vying for attention by kind of being the party naysayers. But they are at odds here. They tend to disagree about what's going to happen at the convention. What does your gut tell you? Are you Team Axelrod or Team Carville?
Probably Axelrod. And I have to say that because I've had this bet with my dad on this very question now for months, with a good bottle of wine hanging in the balance here. I think it's going to be Biden ultimately on the ticket and as the nominee in November. My dad thinks it'll be a switcheroo at the convention. So we'll see. It is a very late hour if they're going to change anything. And it's really hard to throw overboard a sitting president who's been voted for by millions of people in the primaries who doesn't want to go anywhere. And his wife doesn't want him to go anywhere. I mean, everything in terms of the way the system works is slanted in the incumbent's favor.
Yes. And, here we're going into the convention season. For those who follow politics, it is the most exciting time. It's our Olympics, even though it coincides with the Olympics. So how do they do it?
I don't know. But, when you hear...
Because if Joe Biden steps away right now, there will be fury and revolt in the Democrat Party if that choice is his.
Well, but when you hear Carville say there's real unease in the party, well, gee, I wonder why. Trump is beating him in Nevada, Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin.
Not important states.
I would say that that creates some unease. But, who would they replace him with at this point? Michelle Obama has said consistently, I don't want to run. I take her for her word. Gavin Newsom, big problems in California. Who's left? Hillary Clinton?
Well, there's the vice president. Well, let's not forget about her.
It's so funny. People will go down a laundry list of hundreds of names.
Right, they're down to state representatives from Arkansas. You're like, well, what about the sitting vice president?
Oh, wow.
The borders are?
So let's talk about this, Joe, because one of the groups that Joe Biden is hemorrhaging, he's down 10 points among voters who don't have college degrees. What is driving their exodus from Joe Biden and the party?
Donald Trump does love the uneducated, as he once said.
Don't blame him.
Every group is moving away from President Biden at this point. He's down 30 points among black voters. He's way down among Hispanic voters, young voters, because there's one consistent element in all this. Inflation. It's a tax on everyone. People feel it. And then obviously with Hispanics and blacks particularly, they don't like the southern border being open, their jobs and social services being taken away.
Does student debt forgiveness have anything to do with voters who don't have college degrees having to be on the hook for those who made bad choices?
I'll be quick. 38% of Americans have a bachelor's degree. That means 62% do not.
Yeah.
So if you're only catering to those people, thank you. That's pretty good on the fly, right? About 2/3 are saying, where's my check? Or people already paid their loans. Where's my check? It's not playing well politically.
And by the way, the unease that Carville talked about could morph into full-blown panic if, let's say, 3 weeks from now, the polls look the same. Right? After the convention, if the polls don't move their way, I think they will be really concerned. The conviction, yeah.
I mean, that is going to be, if it stays the same, I think they're hosed. And I don't mean that as a compliment. I love a slip and slide. Here we go.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.
You need to watch this if you struggle with feeling heard. What's something people don't know about unlocking their desires? It's simpler than you think. Picture this. New York, rush hour, everybody's hustling, but sometimes you just gotta stop and ask for what you want. Jesus laid it out pretty clear. Ask and it's yours. Seek and you'll find. Knock and that door's gonna swing wide open. Now, I ain't talking about whispering into the wind here. I'm talking about the kind of asking with conviction, the kind of seeking like it's Black Friday at Macy's, and the kind of knocking that says, hey, I mean business. So what's the real secret? It's all about taking action with a capital A. You gotta be bold, you gotta be persistent, and most importantly, you gotta believe it's already yours. That's not just spirituality, that's street smart wisdom right there. So next time you're aiming for something, remember, just ask, seek, knock. And hey, don't just stand there, go get what you want.